Hello everyone and welcome back to ByteWise Academy. In today's lesson, we are going to learn about computer ports and connectors. Whenever you connect a keyboard, mouse, pen drive, monitor, printer, headphones or network cables to a computer, you are using a port or a connector. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to recognize the most common computer ports and understand what each one is used for. Before we look at different types, let us understand the difference between a port and a connector. A port is the socket or interface that we find on a computer or another electronic device. A connector is the plug attached to a cable or device that goes into the port. Think of it like a doorway. The port is the doorway and the connector is what enters through that doorway. For example, the USB port is on your computer, while the USB connector is attached to your USB cable or pen drive. Let's start with one of the most commonly used interfaces, USB or Universal Serial Bus. You probably use USB every day. USB can be used to connect keyboards, mice, pen drives, external hard drives, smartphones, printers, and many other devices. The familiar rectangular connector is called the USB Type A. There are also other USB connector types such as USB Type B and micro USB. USB can carry data and it can also provide power to connected devices. So whenever you see a USB port, think of data, devices and power. Now let's look at USB Type C, commonly called USB-C. You will find USB-C on many modern laptops, smartphones, tablets, and other devices. One of its most useful feature is that the connector is reversible. That means you don't have to worry about which side is facing up when you plug it in. But there is something important to remember. USB-C describes the shape of the connector. It does not automatically tell us everything the port can do. Depending on the device, USB-C can support data transfer, charging, display output, and other capabilities. So always check the specifications of the particular device. Next is we have HDMI or High Definition Multimedia Interface. HDMI is commonly used to connect computers to televisions, monitors, and projectors. One important advantage of HDMI is that it can carry digital videos and digital audio through the same connection. For example, if you connect your laptop to your television using HDMI, the picture can appear on the television and the sound can also be transferred through the same cable. So remember, HDMI, digital videos plus audio as well. Another important display interface is DisplayPort. DisplayPort is commonly found on desktop computers, graphics cards, and computer monitors. Like HDMI, it is a digital interface and can carry high quality display signals. You may notice that DisplayPort and HDMI connectors look different, even though they can perform similar display related functions. So when you see a DisplayPort connection, think primarily of computer display and digital video. So next is, let's go back to an older technology, VGA. VGA stands for Video Graphics Array. You can recognize a VGA connector by its larger D-shaped design and its 15 pins arranged in 3 rows. VGA carries analog videos. It does not carry audio. VGA was widely used with older computers. monitors, and projectors. You may not see it on many modern laptops, but understanding VGA is still useful because it is common in older equipments. Next is, let's talk about computer networking. The RJ45 connector is commonly used with Ethernet network cables. You may have seen this cable connected from a computer to a router or network switch. Unlike Wi-Fi, Ethernet provides a wired network connection. It is commonly used when we need a stable and reliable connection, such as in offices, computer laboratories, servers, and network equipment. So, when you see an RJ45 port, think Ethernet, wired networking. Next are audio ports. Many computers use 3.5mm audio jacks for connecting headphones, speakers, or microphones. Depending on the computer, you may see separate ports for computer input, line input, and audio output. Some computers use different colors to help identify these connections. For example, a microphone connection may be associated with pink, while a headphone or speaker output may be associated with green. Modern laptops may combine several audio functions into a single jack. So, remember, these ports are used for sending or receiving audio signals. Next one is, now let's look at another older connector, PS2. PS2 connectors are small, round, 6-pin connectors additionally used for keyboards and mice. They are often color-coded. Purple is generally associated with the keyboard and green with the mouse. Most modern computers use USB instead, but some desktop motherboards still provide PS2 ports. So, if you see a round purple or green connector on the older computer, it may be a PS2 port. Next one is serial and parallel ports. Before USB became common, computers used several other interfaces. Two important examples are serial ports and parallel ports. A serial port traditionally transferred data sequentially, one bit at a time. Serial ports were used with devices such as modems and other peripherals. Peripheral ports transferred multiple bits simultaneously and were commonly used with older printers. These ports are now considered legacy interfaces, but they are still important when working with older computers and specialized equipment. Next one is the Thunderbolt. Let's look at it. Thunderbolt is a high-speed connectivity technology designed for demanding devices. Modern Thunderbolt connections commonly use a USB-C shaped connector. Depending on the implementation, Thunderbolt can support high-speed data transfer, displays, and power through a single connection. This is especially useful for devices such as high-speed external storage, docking stations, and professional displays. Here is an important point. A USB-C shaped connector does not automatically mean that the connection supports Thunderbolt. Look for the Thunderbolt symbol or check the device specifications. So next one is comparing the ports. Let's quickly compare what we have learned. USB is commonly used for peripherals, data transfer, and power. USB-C is a modern reversible connector that can support different capabilities depending on the device. HDMI is commonly used for digital video and audio. DisplayPort is another digital display interface. VGA is an older analog video connection. RJ45 is used for wired Ethernet networking. 3.5mm audio jacks are used for microphones, headphones, and other audio connections. and PS2 serial and parallel ports are examples of legacy interfaces. Now it's your turn. Look carefully at the images on the screen. And can you identify the ports before the answers appear? Which one is used for wired connecting? Which one is commonly used to connect a computer to a television or projector? Which connector has 15 pins arranged in the row? And which connector is small, oval shaped and reversible? So try answering these questions. So before we finish, let's test what you have learned. First one is, which port is commonly used for wired connections? Next one is, the answer is RJ45 Ethernet. Next, which connection can carry digital video and audio? It's HDMI. Which older display interface uses 15 pins and carries analog videos? Is VGA. Which connector is reversible? USB-C. And finally, the fifth question is, which type of connector is commonly used for headphones and microphones? Is 3.5mm audio jack. So let's remember the most important idea from today's lesson. Ports or interfaces on devices and connectors are the plugs that fit into those ports. Once you understand their shapes and purposes, identifying computer ports becomes much easier. Thank you for learning with ByteWise Academy. See you in the next lesson. Thank you so much. Until then, keep learning. Please subscribe, share, and like the video. Thank you.